We have a huge update by Dan Bongino, who's doing incredible work on busting up the Russia investigation. We're going to hopefully put some heat on Hillary Clinton. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I ran 4 miles today. I'm feeling good. So I'm asked how I can stand doing 4 videos a day on my channel. And it's because I run 4 miles this morning. Keeps me going to work for you. Big family of turkeys on the morning run. Staying alive, ready to do 4 videos for you today. Let's start over here on this Dan Bongino Twitter that is a little mysterious, but it references one of my very good friends, Sean Davis. So first, check this out. Here's Dan Bongino. He's responding to Sean Davis, who's a buddy. He says, it's sad that we have to constantly go through this exercise with media figures obsessed with false narratives. Now, who's he talking about here? He's talking about this guy right here. This is John Lemire. He wrote an article on the Clinton plan emails were likely made by Russian spies, declassified report shows. What's that mean? This is how the New York Times is covering the Hillary Clinton Russian spy emails. They're saying that the Russian spies, this is completely fabricated, by the way. They're saying that Russian spies probably planted the emails that look like they came from Hillary Clinton. And they go, that's a declassified report shows. Now, this is, of course, their opinion that they gave on what the declassified report shows. It actually isn't what the declassified report shows. Let's get back to Bongino's quote here. That's what he means by it's sad that we have to constantly go through this exercise with media figures obsessed with false narratives. Dan Bongino's calling that media figure at New York Times a liar, a false narrative. That's what a false narrative is. It's a lie. And then he's down here quoting my buddy, Sean Davis, saying Sean is correct as he lays out the fact pattern about the attempted takedown of President Trump. I strongly, he writes in all caps, caution you against accepting media-driven narratives about the collusion hoax. That is, anything that mainstream media is saying about it is a lie, given their roles in promoting the hoax in the first place and the discovery of new information since the director, Cash Patel, and I took over. Now, he's saying, how can you trust the media like the New York Times when they were part of disseminating or spreading the information, the lie in the first place? The original lie about the Trump-Russia collusion hoax never would have gone anywhere if the New York Times didn't spread the lie and spread that poison everywhere. Now we're going to get to what Sean Davis, this is what Dan Bongino agrees is all true. He says Sean Davis is right. He's right here in Franklin, Tennessee, and I love him. He's a great truth teller. By the way, he gives Mike Johnson a lot of heat, so he's one of my buddies that is no fan of Mike Johnson. He says that's not what it shows at all. The New York Times is straight up lying. Now he's going to straighten out. This is just a list of facts. It's going to get a little technical, but it's good for us to learn the vocabulary. The Durham Annex never states at all that the specific intelligence was fabricated. That's what the New York Times said, it was fabricated. It says the exact opposite, that his office was never able to determine definitively whether the purported Clinton campaign plan was entirely genuine, partially true, a composite pulled from multiple sources, exaggerated in certain respects, or fabricated in its entirety, unquote. They can't tell because there's no source. They don't have the original source. Number 2, at the time of the intel, which Ben Smith says was fake, was received, John Brennan took it so seriously that he briefed Obama about it, took notes about it, and stashed the notes away in his safe. Number 3, James Comey specifically went under oath and cited the Clinton plan intelligence as one of the major reasons he chose to unilaterally usurp the authority of Loretta Lynch. That's who met with Obama on the airport tarmac, and they had a private secret message to each other, and to declare that the U.S. government should not charge Hillary Clinton for her use of an illegal private email server. Number 4, Comey told Congress that he believed the Clinton plan intelligence was genuine. quote, so far as I know at the time and still think, unquote, Comey testified in 2018. The material itself was genuine, says Comey. And remember, Comey knew the material itself was not genuine, that it was made up. Number 5, FBI General Counsel James Baker said he was greatly concerned about the intel, and specifically Loretta Lynch's reaction when was confronted with it. Durham's report said Baker, quote, did not dismiss the credibility, unquote, of the intel reports, which he should have done because he knew they were fake. Andrew McCabe likewise said he was struck by Loretta Lynch's odd reaction to the allegations. Number 6, everyone on earth knows the Clinton campaign launched a scheme to falsely claim that Trump colluded with Russia. This new claim that somehow it was a fabrication, so this is what the mainstream media is going with, that all of anything that points to Hillary Clinton was planted by Russians. It was a fabrication that the Clinton campaign ran an op to falsely tie Trump to Russia is beyond insane. It's sociopathic, he says. Yeah, Dan Bongino is warning us about the media that lied before, lied throughout, and now are lying again. We cannot trust them. That's why we're staying on this story so long, guys. Now here's Cash Patel on that release of that Chuck Grassley statement that we did a video on earlier. Here's FBI Cash Patel. This was tweeted by Dan Bongino, also retweeted him. He says, good summary of what we, the FBI, found and declassified for the first time ever, more to come. I want to emphasize that this is the first time and by the way, this is by Charlie Kirk. Newly declassified documents from the Durham report annex made public by Senator Grassley indicate the intel community was fully aware of Hillary Clinton campaign plan to falsely tie President Trump to Russia. That's what we're going to keep emphasizing. It was the entire intelligence community knew it was false and spread a lie for Hillary Clinton, leaked it to the media, and the media spread the lie for her. But this is what's most important, is that this was declassified for the first time ever. Now, many of you, before you even quote it, don't put it in the chat, because I'm going to tell you right now what many of you are going to say. You're going to say, it's all the same. There's not going to be any arrests. I read that comment about, 100 of you, maybe even 200 of you, automatically say the same thing. There will be no arrests. This time, I think you're wrong, because this is the first time this stuff has ever been declassified. So you know why there hasn't been an arrest before? Because Trump didn't win, didn't appoint Bongino and Cash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard and Pam Bondi to release this stuff. It was covered up. This is the first time it was ever declassified. Chuck Grassley just posted, this is the annex, kind of the appendix of the Durham report. That's why there's been no arrests. So now you go, it's just like always, there'll be no arrests. No, you have to have evidence to make an arrest. This is the first time we've had hard evidence, the actual paperwork. Giving them some happy times here. Now, here's more. This is Dan Bongino. This is just another tweet of what they found on intelligence against China, where someone put together a server that would send out our nuclear information to China to help them weaponize nukes. This is why it's important that remember, they're doing all this work, right? It's been 3 months. In the middle of this work, they get a call from all of MAGA and all of media to jump off all this stuff that you're working on. Go do Epstein. Quick, get Pam Bondi, get Dan Bongino, Cash Patel, get on Epstein or you're traitors. And this is what Dan Bongino's working on instead. More updates for you on our efforts to defend the homeland and protect the American people from foreign adversaries. This week, Cadence Design System Incorporated, a multinational electric design automation software and hardware company, just know it's a tech firm, pled guilty to committing criminal export violations. What were they exporting? Our intelligence to China, and will pay more than $140 million in criminal and civil penalties. Cadence sold sensitive semiconductor design tools and technology to a restricted Chinese military university involved in the development of supercomputers, which are believed to support military and nuclear explosion simulations in China. Important or not important, guys? That Dan Bongino do his job. in the FBI and bust this stuff. This is an emergency. So yes, there have been fines and arrests. Now, we're going to get back on the Russia collusion thing because I love Devin Nunes. Why? Devin Nunes was a truth teller. This is from 10 years ago. Listen to this tweet. This is the exact moment when Devin Nunes blew the whistle on Russiagate 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. Do you know who Devin's right-hand man was during all of this? Cash Patel, a Barack Obama. He came on during the Barack Obama administration. Devin Nunes always had Cash Patel as his insider guy. And Cash Patel now has enough authority in the government to do this incredible work. Cash knows exactly what they did. Now they all must pay for their crimes. This is the first time we have evidence on it. Here's Devin Nunes on C-SPAN from, 2017?
As promised, I'm going to continue to keep you apprised of new developments. Some significant developments, I think, occurred over the course of the last few days with information that was brought to my attention. And I'm going to just sort of read a very brief statement, and that's about all I can tell you, but I want to keep you fully informed of what's happening.
And remember, Nunes, he had all of the media against him, all of it. He was the only one saying this. It was seen as completely radical and ridiculous by everyone when he said it. And now in hindsight, we see he was the only one in the United States telling you the truth.
At our open hearing on Monday, I encouraged anyone who has information about relative topics, including surveillance on President-elect Trump or his transition team, to come forward and speak to the House Intelligence Committee. I also said that while there was not a physical wiretap of Trump Tower, I was concerned that other surveillance activities were used against President Trump and his associates.
And there were other surveillance by Barack Obama.
So first, I recently confirmed that on numerous occasions, the intelligence community incidentally collected information about U.S. citizens involved in the Trump transition. Details about U.S. persons associated with the incoming administration, details with little or no apparent foreign intelligence value, were widely disseminated in intelligence community reporting. Third, I have confirmed that additional names of Trump transition team members were unmasked. And fourth, and finally, I want to be clear, none of this surveillance was related to Russia or the investigation of Russian activities or of the Trump team. The House Intelligence Committee will thoroughly investigate surveillance and its subsequent dissemination to determine a few things here that I want to read off. Who was aware of it, why it was not disclosed to Congress, who requested and authorized the additional unmasking,
John Brennan,
whether anyone directed the intelligence community to focus on Trump associates, and whether any laws, regulations, or procedures were violated.
All by James Comey and Clapper. Now, who's Devin Nunes? In case you don't know who he is, he currently holds these two primary professional roles. He serves as the chairman of President Trump's Intelligence Advisory Board. It's a position that he got, that's back in January 20th, the day Trump got inaugurated. He pulls Devin Nunes and puts him on the intelligence board. He's recently appeared he's doing media work. He's addressing the timeline and revelations related to the Russia collusion investigation because he was the one who was there and knew earliest. He's the executive officer at the Trump Media and Technology Group, known as TMTG, as the stock ticker. He's running Trump's biggest business, most profitable business right now. That's the parent company to Truth Social. So he's above and managing the money and the business model for Truth Social. Trump hired him to do that. That was back in 2022. And just recently under TMTG, that's the stock ticker, they've been buying Bitcoin. That's why I've been doing some stuff on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin just to keep you guys up to date. The Treasury holdings for their Bitcoin right now has now reached $2 billion. That's Trump's guy, Devin Nunes, right-hand man, quietly working behind the scenes on all this stuff. But it's good news. I think Dan Bongino, he's just saying, look, there's a media narrative coming out now. They're lying again. That's why we're doing shows on it. Thank you guys for subscribing. That's why we're covering this. I'm going to keep giving you details. breaking it down in easy to understand terms, because when I learn it, I can pass it on to you, and then you learn it. And that's what I'm here. I'm here to serve you because you guys are the greatest audience in the world. I'm Doug in Exile. Subscribe.